Good Growing is sponsored by Salisbury Greenhouse. Plants, gifts, fountains. Salisbury Greenhouse in Sherwood Park.
So this is not a patio lantern. Today on Good Growing, we're talking about how to keep wasps and hornets away from your outdoor living areas. I'm Rob Sproul. Welcome back. So there's a few ways to keep wasps and hornets away. The first way is, if you can live and let live, do that. If they're not in your near vicinity, if they're not bothering you, then hornets do pollinate. They do pollinate trees. They are beneficial. They eat lots of other insects. So if you can live and let live, that's your first option. Your second option is you can just hang one of these. It's very easy. It's called Get Lost Wasp. And it just looks like a nest. They think it's a nest. You can use a brown paper bag as well. I don't think they work as well. But now this is not going to get rid of an existing hive. No matter what the packaging says, if there's an existing hive there, they're not going to see this and run away. They're not, they may be foolhardy, but they're not cowards. So, but this may dissuade them from moving back into a nest or creating a new nest. Another way you can do, which is also very environmentally friendly, is just a simple trap. And you just put a fluid in the bottom. There's instructions on here, and they fly in and get trapped, and that's the end of them. This isn't going to get rid of your nest. It's just going to control your population a bit. And consider these your last resort. These are your aerosols. They are poisons, so you don't want to use them around your pets or little kids. There is a spray, which is quite strong. It'll almost knock them out of the air. And then there is a foam. Now you only want to use the foam if you see the nest. If you have direct contact with the nest, then you spray the foam directly onto the nest. You want to do this early in the morning or very late at night. Very early in the morning, like dawn, is best. If you can wake up that early, get some sweaters on, get a hat on, get a face mask, a balaclava if you want, and go to the nest and foam the entrance to the nest. Do not do this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a hot day, because that's when they're mad and they're anxious and they're full of energy, and you might be sorry for that. Again, now if you have a beehive, like a honeybee or a bumblebee, don't do any of these things. We need our pollinators. It's very important. A honeybee or bumblebee, the big fuzzy ones, they won't sting you unless they are mortally threatened. Because if a honeybee or a bumblebee stings you, it leaves its stinger inside of you and it dies shortly after, because the stinger pulls out the rest of its insides. So they won't sting you unless you really make them mad. And so if they're there, live and let live. Let's try to preserve our pollinators where we can. I'm Rob Sproul, and this has been Good Growing.
Good Growing is sponsored by Salisbury Greenhouse. Plants, gifts, fountains. Salisbury Greenhouse in Sherwood Park.